When Melissa told me she needed space, I thought she meant she just wanted a little breathing room. Not that she was already halfway out the door. We'd been married for 8 years, together for 10. College sweethearts who thought love and shared dreams were enough to carry us through anything. She studied art, I studied business. We spent late nights on cheap pizza, talking about building a future together in Seattle, picturing a life that always included each other. But somewhere along the way, the laughter that used to fill our home turned quiet, and she started to disappear behind polite smiles and tired eyes. It began with the small things, missed dinners, conversations that ended before they started. I'd ask about her day, and she'd say, fine, in that clipped tone that meant, don't ask more. I assumed she was stressed, maybe overwhelmed at work. So I tried harder to make things easier for her. I cooked dinner, took over chores, gave her time to herself. But the more I did, the further she seemed to drift, like every kind act was a reminder of something she didn't want anymore. Then one night, over takeout she barely touched, she finally said it. I need some space, Ryan. Her voice wasn't angry, just detached, rehearsed. I froze for a second, unsure what to say, then nodded. Okay, if that's what you need. So I gave her space, literally and emotionally. I stopped checking in constantly, stopped asking if she was okay, stopped reaching for her in bed. I figured she needed time to breathe, to reset, and at first it seemed to help. She smiled more, laughed softly at things again. I thought maybe we were finding balance. Then came the shift. One night, she asked casually, "Who were you texting?" Another day, "Why are you home so late?" The questions came wrapped in light curiosity, but edged with jealousy. It caught me off guard. I was the one giving space, but suddenly she was the one keeping tabs. When I tried to go to the gym one evening, she stopped me at the door. "You've been distant lately." Distant? I echoed, confused. "I thought that's what you wanted." Her tone sharpened. I didn't mean ignore me. I just needed time to think. Time to think about what? I wanted to ask, but I didn't. Instead, I grabbed my keys and left. At the gym, my mind wouldn't settle. Every time I gave her what she asked for, it seemed to make her angry. It hit me then. Space wasn't about distance. It was about control. She wanted me close enough to stay available, but far enough so she didn't have to feel guilty. So I stopped trying to fix it. I went out more, caught up with old friends, joined a hiking group. I wasn't doing it to provoke her. I was just trying to breathe again. But the irony was, that's when jealousy crept in. "Who were you with?" she asked one night when I came home from a hike. "Some people from the group." "People like women?" "Some, yeah." Her eyes narrowed. "So now you're just out there meeting people?" I didn't reply. I just looked at her and saw it clearly for the first time. She wasn't scared of losing me. She was scared of losing control of the story. The next morning, she woke up early and made pancakes, smiling too brightly, trying too hard. It felt rehearsed, but it was too late. I had already realized that sometimes when someone asks for space, they're really preparing to drift away, and they just don't want you moving on before they do. Weeks passed. She wavered between warmth and coldness, between wanting closeness and pretending indifference. One night, she'd curl against me. The next, she'd turn away before I could lie down. It felt like living with two versions of her, never knowing which one I'd get. Then one morning, she said, "Let's go out Friday. Maybe that Italian place you like." I wanted to believe it was a truce. So I agreed. That night, she looked beautiful, hair curled, that blue dress from our 5th anniversary. For a moment, I thought we were finding our way back. Dinner was pleasant at first. We talked about work, her sister's baby, movies. Then, halfway through dessert, she asked, "Are you seeing anyone from that hiking group?" Her tone was casual, but her eyes weren't. "No," I said. "You just seem different lately," she said, more confident. "Like you don't need me anymore." That hit deeper than I expected. I took a slow breath. Maybe I just realized I shouldn't have to beg to be needed. She looked down, blinking fast. The rest of dinner passed in soft silence. On the drive home, she stared out the window, reflection trembling in the glass. 2 days later, She texted me, "We need to talk tonight." When I got home, she was waiting at the table, hands folded. "You've changed," she said quietly. "You're colder." I almost laughed. "You asked for space, Melissa. I just gave it to you." "I didn't want you to stop caring," she whispered. "I never stopped caring," I said. "I just stopped chasing." That broke something in her. She looked away, eyes wet. "I thought space would make me miss you, but it made me realize how far apart we already are." I nodded. "And now I don't know how to come back," she said softly. We sat in silence, the kind that says everything words can't. That night, I lay beside her, listening to her breathing, and I knew I wasn't angry anymore, just done. The next morning, I packed a small bag, not out of spite, but because I needed clarity. When she saw it, her eyes widened. "Where are you going?" "I'm giving you the space you wanted," I said gently. "For real this time." "Ryan, wait. You wanted time to think. Take it," I said quietly. "Maybe you'll figure out what you really want." Her hand trembled as she reached for me, but I stepped back. "You wanted space," I said softly. "Now I need peace." I walked out without slamming the door. The air outside was cool, crisp, almost kind. For the first time in months, I could breathe freely, without wondering how much space I was allowed to take up. She called twice that night. I didn't answer. The next day, she sent a long message. Apologies, regrets, promises. I read every word but didn't reply. Because when you finally stop trying to convince someone to love you, something shifts. You stop waiting for closure. You create yourself. Weeks later, I found a small apartment. Quiet neighborhood. Sunlight through the blinds. Plants on the windowsill. Life slowed down, softened. I started sleeping better, eating better, existing without walking on eggshells. Melissa still messages me sometimes. Just little things, memories, photos. I respond politely, but never deeply. There's no bitterness left, just distance. The kind she once said she needed. Funny how that turned out. In the end, it wasn't space that broke us. It was pretending distance was love. And sometimes, asking for space isn't about leaving someone. It's about making room for the person you're meant to become once they're gone.